Coming up on the county line, I'll show you the process that goes into making these delicious Easter treats, from the assembly line to the store shelves.
Stay tuned. Coming up on the county line, On the Road takes a lick of Handel's ice cream.
Are you in the mood for some fudge? We visit our local Fudgery to see how it is made. We're local, we're live, the county line starts right now.
New Wilmington police are writing tickets for those not following the speed limit, but what do these tickets really say? Good evening and welcome to the County Line. I'm Stevie Nelson.
And I'm Mike Walensky. Get caught driving faster than 25 miles per hour through New Wilmington, and you'll have to pay a fine, but instead of speeding tickets, police are writing citations for driving too fast for conditions. The borough is still waiting on PennDOT to finalize the changed speed limit. Then they will enforce the law with traditional speeding tickets. Police Chief Carmen Picarillo has plans to better publicize the speed limit change once the PennDOT officially acknowledges the new limit.
Former Lawrence County Treasurer and convicted felon Gary Velasco could get out of jail soon. He is scheduled to meet with a parole officer next month. Velasco went to prison last August on a 1 to 7 year sentence after stealing more than $100,000 from county taxpayers. Because he was convicted of a nonviolent crime, he could be considered for early parole, and only 2 of the 9 members of the state parole board would have to vote in his favor.
Many of us gave up sweets for Lent, and fortunately, Easter is just around the corner. Next Sunday, many Easter baskets will be filled with special treats. I visited the Fudgery in Grove City for a sweet preview.
Step on in to watch a free fudge show. That's right.
When you walk past most candy shops, the smell is the sweet part. But at the Fudgery, there's something a little sweeter. The sounds.
Talking about hot fudge, ooh.
It's just a lot of fun. It's not like your normal retail environment. We do a lot of singing, and we sell, fudge and ice cream and apples, and we make all the products here. So it's not like there's ever a moment where we're standing around waiting for a customer to come in, because there's always 1,000 things to do. So it makes it a lot different than your normal retail back.
My favorite part about working at the Fudgery, well, here working at the Fudgery, we get all this sorts of fudge here, and I just love entertaining people. It's just a great thing. Watching people I just love watching people's eyes light up when they taste the fudge. It's just a great feeling.
Our number one seller there is our cookies and cream and chocolate peanut butter.
It's called debarring the table because I take D-bar of a D table, take it to D back so I can keep D job. That's right. Well, actually, the hardest part is loafing because, you just have to get it perfect to get, the perfect shape going all the way down the line. And, after every batch, we have to taste it. We call it quality control, but I call it wanting to eat some fudge.
At the Fudgery, the sweetest thing is the taste.
Keep the fudge, to keep it the longest, you can keep it in the freezer for up to 8 months in an airtight container. Make sure it's in an airtight container. And you can keep it on your counter for up to 2 to 4 weeks in an airtight container. But if you put it in the fridge, that's bad. That's very bad because it'll turn rock hard. And our motto here, if you want a paperweight, refrigerate.
Well, if fudge isn't your thing, maybe chocolate is. And one of the best places to find it is right around the corner. Tonight, the County Line's Nikki Pizar takes a look at how the beautiful candy is made.
The line seemed to stretch for miles, and most of the people waiting in line were kids. While some were more impatient than others, what could possibly make kids wait so long?
You come here for the free chocolate?
Yes. I'll be eating all I can.
The kids were eagerly waiting to tour Daffin's chocolate factory in Farrell on its annual Swizzle Stick Day. Mr. Paul Daffin, who passed away in 1998, started this special day over 30 years ago by opening up the factory to the community so everyone could see how chocolate was created. His daughter Diane says the Daffin's company is unique.
It's a family business, and there's In every aspect of the business, you will find a member of the family somewhere. And we hope to do that from generation to generation.
Daffin's produces a variety of different chocolates. First, the chocolate ingredients are mixed together, then boiled, tempered, squirted into a mold, and finally, after being cooled, packaged into boxes and wrappers.
After the candy is manufactured at Daffin's factory, it's brought here to Daffin's candy store in Sharon, where they have a variety of treats to tickle your taste buds.
Not only are the shelves lined with chocolates, the store is also home to the famous Chocolate Kingdom, which contains a 400-pound chocolate turtle, a Ferris wheel, and a couple of castles. Daffin's store worker, Allie Pelsch, says there's just something special about Daffin's chocolate.
It's really chocolatey. They put a lot of chocolate over their candies. I think it's really good. I just love it.
Whatever it is, the kids won't easily forget.
Daffin!
In Farrell, I'm Nikki Pizar for the County Line.
That chocolate looks delicious. Regional History Day finalists are jazzing up their projects for competition at the state level. This week, area students from junior and senior high schools came to New Wilmington to show off their history knowledge. The County Line's Elizabeth Ferry reports.
These kids wanted to stay outside, playing catch and enjoying the weather, but they eventually had to get down to business to face the judges and compete for their spots in history. When choosing a topic, most students chose a subject that had a meaningful impact on their lives.
I work with kids who are blind, and I thought it would be fun to learn how they read and who invented it.
Thank you. She inspired a lot of women and scientists at her time.
Students created projects ranging from group presentations on the Vietnam War to exhibits on artificial limbs and rock star legends.
My partner and I thought it would be a great idea to do a project on Jimi Hendrix, so this was probably the best idea.
Did you know the fourth smokestack on the Titanic was just for decoration? That's just one of the many things these students learned while they prepared for History Day.
He invented Braille, which today helps people read and write.
He was betrayed and his ideas never came about.
She discovered two new elements, polonium and radium.
She was a stenographer during the Vietnam War.
After all the hard work and pressure, these kids deserve some playtime.
I'm in math class right now.
Probably being at school, bored.
For many hopefuls, the next step is state championships. In New Wilmington, I'm Elizabeth Farry for the County Line. Rock on History Day.
St. Vincent College is preparing to make history. This week they announced President George W. Bush as their commencement speaker. The school has a connection with our nation's leader. The university president, James Towie, served as director of the Faith-Based and Community Initiatives Office up until last April. The commencement speech will take place on May 11th. Still to come on the County Line, a Westminster student prepares to cycle across the country.
And our on-the-road team fills their sweet tooth with a trip to a local ice cream outlet. Stay tuned to the County Line. It continues after this.
Oh, don't you worry, I will. I love going to work and listening to my kind of music on Titan Radio.
That's right. Titan Radio brings you all the top hits of today, along with local news and sports. Commercial-free hit music on 88.9 FM Titan Radio, playing your kind of music.
No one wants to be in debt, but the truth is that most of us are. For 51 years, Consumer Credit Counseling has been in the business of helping people find their way out of debt. The professionals at Consumer Credit Counseling want to help you move on with your life. With their local office in Sharon, it's easy to get started. Visit their website, cccservices.com. That's CCCservices.com. Consumer Credit Counseling, financial help in any crisis. You can control your debt. Consumer Credit Counseling will show you how.
Titan Radio. Check this out.
Not a big Limp Bizkit fan. Thought she'd get a hand on a member of Duran Duran.
Titan Radio. Commercial-free music 24/7.
On the radio. Springsteen, Madonna. Way before Nirvana, there was U2 and Blondie. Stop. 1985.
As the old saying goes, March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. It's also the perfect time to get a head start on the summer ice cream season. Tonight, our On the Road team takes a trip to Handel's Ice Cream in Shenango Township.
For this week's On the Road, we go to Handel's Ice Cream in Shenango.
With the recent warm weather, there's nothing better than ice cream.
Handel's homemade ice cream and yogurt has been around since 1945, pleasing the taste buds of the young and old, including celebrities such as Bill Cosby and Tom Cruise.
What you want?
With a variety of enticing flavors on the menu, we finally narrowed it down to what sounded the tastiest.
Can I have 2 scoops of the cake batter in a cone, please?
Ooh. Chocolate malt with caramel.
Yeah.
All right.
Try cake batter.
Has a chocolate brownie chunk hurricane.
Yeah.
Give me some cake batter in this cone right there. I love ice.
Tastes like heaven.
A little slice of it.
A little slice of heaven.
Yeah.
I'm definitely coming back.
So what makes Handel's taste like heaven?
It's the ingredients we use. We don't cut any corners on our mix. We use a 12% butterfat mix. We use no artificial flavorings. Everything is made from oils. And the biggest seller in Newcastle is butter pecan and black raspberry. Them are the 2 biggest. Now, if you go over to the Youngstown area, chocolate pecan is the big flavor over there. So mainly, we take pride in the product we're putting out. We try to put out the best product possible.
That will do it for this week's On the Road. What a tasty time we had at Handel's Ice Cream in Shenango. Tune in next week for more fun.
If you find a stray cat or dog, you can take it to the Lawrence County Humane Society and they'll find it a loving home. But what happens to stray or abused ferrets? The County Line's Chris Norris stopped by the Helping Hands Ferret Rescue, where a local woman willingly adopts and cares for ferrets in her home until they are found loving homes.
This is Helen Wojciechowski, mother of 55. Ferrets, that is. Wojciechowski owns and operates Helping Hands Ferret Rescue in Harlansburg. She says thanks to one precious ferret named Cody, she decided to open the facility.
He's my own person. And Cody and I were pretty bonded together, and I took him everywhere with me. We went everywhere. I'd sneak him in my purse, take him to Walmart, even took him in a restaurant in my purse. I just snuck him around. And Cody developed, he had 2 cage mates that's how I got involved with shelters, because I was looking for a playmate for him. Well, then he got to where he was pretty good, and then he developed a terrible, terrible tumor on his side. And we lost him the 7th of February this year. So it's, like I said, it's real hard to talk about him. Yeah. But he was the inspiration to starting a shelter.
Once the ferrets are brought to Helping Hands, they receive top-notch care.
But they'll bring them to me, and then what we do is we isolate them for 10 days, which gives us a chance to make sure they have no sickness. I make sure they're up to date on their shot, and I ADV test them. And then once their test results comes back negative, then we bring them into this room and they're introduced to other ferrets. And sometimes we'll play with other ferrets and sometimes they won't.
The ferrets do enjoy playing with each other, but also find amusement with the household cats.
Yeah, the kitties play with the ferrets. I think they think this is their room.
All 55 of the little critters are loved by Wojciechowski, but she has a special place in her heart for one of her favorite ferrets.
This is little Ricky.
Little Ricky.
Ricky was a very neglected ferret. I'll show you pictures of him later. He was all skinny, all yellow looking, scabs all around his eyes. He didn't even look like he looks now. He looked horrible. But this is him after with a lot of love and care.
Wojciechowski loves all of her animals, but agrees that ferrets make the best pets of all.
They don't tear up the house. They don't bark. They don't disturb your neighbors. They're not like a cat that maybe you can't litter train and it goes all over your house. They're just a unique pet.
If you are interested in adopting one of the furry friends, log on to the Helping Hands website at www.helpinghandsferretrescue.com. I'm Chris Norris, reporting for the County Line.
The Pennsylvania Supreme Court is expected to make a decision by this summer regarding Bedford Downs. The decision will determine whether the State Harness Racing Commission can reconsider Bedford Downs' proposal alone or if it must be considered with another proposal. The Bedford Downs proposal would develop a $170 million casino on old strip mine land in Lawrence County.
There are many fundraisers for cancer research, and 2 Westminster students are doing their part. They plan on bicycling across the country to raise money for the Lance Armstrong Foundation. The County Line's Danielle Adams reports.
Most people ride their bikes for fun, but 2 Westminster students are riding their bikes across the country to help raise awareness for cancer research. Meet Adam Rady and Nick Kegel, 2 Westminster students who are taking a coast-to-coast road trip on their bikes.
It starts in Plymouth Rock, Massachusetts, and goes to San Francisco, California, and it's about a 2-month ride, and we're raising money for cancer awareness and support through the Lance Armstrong Foundation.
We started researching it online and stuff, and we kind of with our recent family illness, my grandmother just passed away from pancreatic cancer, and his aunt just passed away from lung cancer, and so we kind of just got a little bit of motivation and wanted to make it more aware of the effects of smoking and just cancer in general.
Last year, Nick and I went down to North Carolina, and we went to Lowe's Motor Speedway, which is the NASCAR track that they actually filmed part of Talladega Nights on, and we got to do a time trial on that track. It was a 10-mile time trial for biking, so we met a lot of people through that. So we've talked and just gleaned bits and pieces from different people on how long it would take, what kind of supplies we should look at, what kind of bikes we should look at. Those types of things all just sort of melded together to become what we've calling Coast to Coast for a Cure.
They can help us out through donations and also just checking us out and spreading the word. We do have a Facebook group, and they could join that just by supporting us and maybe helping us out just by letting people know, and maybe they can donate to us or whatever.
Yes, monetary donations are big, but anything else that people are willing to give.
If you would like to donate money or anything else you think Adam and Nick could use, send it to Adam Rady, Westminster College, Box number 472, New Wilmington, Pennsylvania, 16172. All checks can be made out to Coast for a Cure.
County Commissioner Ed Fosnaught recently changed his party affiliation from Republican to Democrat.
And it's not often when a commissioner changes his affiliation, so in tonight's County Close-Up, Alex Hines finds out the reasons behind the change.
Good evening and welcome to the County Close-Up. I'm here tonight with Lawrence County Commissioner Ed Fosnaught. So first of all, thank you for coming in and joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me, Alex.
All right, well, first, you've been making headlines lately with your recent switch from the Republican Party to the Democratic Party. How did you decide to make that switch? Because especially with the county as having a 2-in-1 balance on the board, that's a pretty big change.
I decided to make that switch because a lot of the supporters that I've had in the past have been Democrats. The other thing is that I had a pretty strong supporter of Governor Handel. I think he's done a good job, and I wanted to see him get reelected. And now that he isn't reelected as a Democrat, I think I can have a better opportunity to work with him for the people of the county. I also supported State Representative Jarrett Gibbons, not just in the general election, but in the primary election. And with having those two men elected, we have a Democrat congressman, we have a Democrat senator, and I think I can probably serve the county better with a better working relationship with those individuals. That was one of the primary reasons. The other part is that we have changes in philosophy as we grow. I've always felt that the primary job of the county commissioners is to help people. I think the Democrat Party and the Democrat agenda lends itself better to accomplishing that.
Okay, and since you mentioned it, speaking of the elections recently, that you were supporting some of the Democratic candidates, and now that we do have them in their offices, what kind of effect do you think you'll see that having on the county here?
Oh, I think that that the governor will be appreciative that he had my support. I can get his attention, or not necessarily directly to the governor. It's more important to have a good relationship with the governor's staff than the governor himself, because they're the ones who call things to his attention. They're the ones that you work with. And there are a lot of things that we can do in our county, but they require state help. Having a good relationship with the governor is critical. Also, Representative Gibbons, fine young man. He's going to do a good job. He's already shown some initiatives, and Congressman Altmaier. I had the opportunity to meet with the congressman. He's going to be some assistance to our Lawrence County Fair Board, which Lawrence County being pretty much agriculturally based, it's very important that our fair be successful. And Congressman Altmaier has committed that he's going to help us. So feel good about that.
Okay. And then one other question that's come up a lot in the minds of people in Lawrence County is, with the recent request for parole from the former treasurer here in the county, Gary Velasco, what can the Board of Commissioners do with that, or do they have any involvement with that at all? And how would that process work if you would dig in?
The Board of Commissioners can express their opinion. It would probably have an effect of nothing. That decision is made by the Board of Pardons and Paroles with the consent of the sentencing judge. There's no information that I have that I can give to the Board of Pardons and Paroles. I'm more interested in the county moving forward. Gary Velasco's in jail. That's where he ought to be. Whether or not he stays there is up to people who have expertise in whether they should make those decisions or not, and I'm comfortable leaving them in their hands.
All right. Well, Commissioner Fosnaught, thank you very much for coming in tonight. It was great to have you here, and we'll have more County Line coming up next.
Come on! This way! Who is that guy? I don't know! Hurry up! He's right behind us! I know! Come on, get up!
407 years ago.
Think history is a little scary? Then log on to LOC.gov and see how much fun it can be. The Library of Congress at LOC.gov.
Everyone should have a plan for what to do if disaster strikes. And if you have pets, you should have one for them too. Always have up-to-date identification on your dog or cat. Keep current color photos of your pets with the rest of your emergency supplies. If you know danger is coming, get your dogs on a leash and your cats in a carrier as soon as possible. Remember, your pet is safest when it's with you. This message brought to you on behalf of the Lawrence County Humane Society.
Good evening, everyone. I'm David Gregg with Titantown Sports. With the rise in the temperature, the snow melting, and the sun staying out past 5 o'clock, spring seems to be in the air. But this can only mean one thing. That's right, it's time once again for the start of America's pastime. It's time for baseball season. The Titans baseball and softball teams know what time it is, as both teams recently returned from a spring training trip to Florida where they developed more than just a tan. Reporter DK laced up his cleats and got down and dirty with the Titans.
The cracking of the bats can only mean one thing. The baseball and softball teams are back from spring training in Florida, where they sharpen their skills to make another run at the PAC championship. The baseball and softball teams feel that spring training in Florida is vital to their preparation for the season.
I think it helps out a lot to be able to get out on the field. Whether staying up here, it's so usually there's snow on the ground and everything. You don't get the chance to come outside and be ready for when the conference game starts. Going down there, we have the chance to get some games under our belts and see where the team stands.
It helps us determine where the players can play and how strong they are in certain positions, and it actually gets us out on the fields, the dirt fields, considering we're stuck inside all winter, and the hitting wise to see actual live pitching and everything like that. So it's a big influence.
Okay.
The baseball and softball teams have different strengths and weaknesses, but both can rely on their power hitting to carry them through the season.
A strong point of the team is the returning players. I think we have a lot of good leadership, and we work really well. We all mesh well together with the freshmen. A weakness of the team is definitely having a lot of freshmen on the team, a lot of new players, new people in new positions, but we're working through it. We're doing pretty well so far.
Well, we have a big new class that came in, so our freshmen are going to have to step up. We have a lot of experience, though. Most of our lineup has been playing for a few years on this team, so I think that helps us a lot.
The men's and ladies baseball teams both have around 500 last year. Both teams this year will accept nothing less than a PAC championship.
We want to capture the PAC title. Did it 2 years ago, came up short last year, so that's our goal for this year, is to revenge our title, get it back.
I want to be very competitive in the PAC, and our goal is to make the playoffs, win 20 games or more, and make a run for the PAC championship.
Shake the dirt off those cleats. Baseball season is in full swing. I'm DK, reporting for the County Line.
The baseball team is 6-7 so far in the year and 0-3 in the PAC, while the softball team is at an even 6-6. The baseball team will host Waynesburg tomorrow at 4, while the softball team travel to Penn State Barron today. Roberto Clemente Jr., son of the late Hall of Fame baseball player, will be speaking here at Westminster Wednesday, April 11th at 8 p.m. at the Wallace Memorial Chapel. Clemente will share a motivational speech themed sportsmanship on a team of your own. Clemente, a baseball broadcaster and former player, is a gifted speaker who established the Roberto Clemente Foundation in 1993. The event is free and open to the public. And now for extra innings. The worst team in hockey last year has clinched a playoff berth. That's right, the Pittsburgh Penguins are in the playoffs after their victory over the Washington Capitals Tuesday night. They're currently sitting in 5th place in the Eastern Conference. With the Devils' loss last night and the Pens' wins tonight, Pittsburgh could take over 1st place in their division and potentially claim 2nd place in the Eastern Conference. However, when the ice melts, basketball will be taking over in San Antonio. The Final 4 games will commence this Saturday. Number 1 seed Florida taking on number 2 seed UCLA, and those Ohio State Buckeyes, number 1 seed, facing off with the number 2 Georgetown. Well, that will do it for this week's Titantown Sports. Stay tuned, more County Line is on the way.
Keeping my car regularly tuned helps reduce air pollution, and also saves me money on gas and repairs. But it's not just about saving money. It's about what you do with it.
You're wax, Environmental defense. Get green. Go to getgreen.com.
One day these rats were playing in the woods. One of some matches, and that's no good. So if a gorgeous force is what you decide, don't play with matches, don't play with fire. Yeah.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Fire.
Properly inflating my tires burns less fuel and saves me money on gas. Yeah, I'm saving Mother Nature from pollution, but more importantly, she saved me $11. Ow!
Environmental defense. Get green. Go to getgreen.com.
There's a better way to have fun with history. Visit americaslibrary.gov. Log on, play around, learn something.
That's it for this week's edition of the County Line.
Join us next week when we celebrate Easter with a trip to the Easter Bunny Lane and an Easter egg hunt.
Plus, we'll take a look at a health trend that's catching on at all ages. It's yoga for toddlers.
That sounds like it's a lot of fun for the kids.
Yeah, interesting.
Also, our On the Road team will visit another exciting Lawrence County attraction. Thanks for joining us for the County Line. Have a good night.
Good night.
and he told Mr. Taylor that he would have to